Video on a popular debate over which is worse, drinking alcohol or smoking pot. As a part of my research project done at the University of Buffalo for my social research class, 2 people 40 and older and 2 people in their 20s agreed to answer questions to support their views on alcohol versus marijuana. As you might imagine, the older generation felt that marijuana was worse than alcohol. They gave I would say marijuana would be more harmful. It seems to affect motivation, their brain cells, proper eating habits, healthy lifestyles. There's coughing and the lungs sound so burned. I think it lowers sperm count too. And marijuana use over time has held young people back more than alcohol. They just seem to lose their motivation that they had when they were kids. For some reason, students don't come to school drunk, but they think it's okay to come to school after vaping or reeking of marijuana, that fucking disgusting drug. They can't even focus or participate in class. And I see marijuana being more harmful in the adolescent to early adulthood stage than alcohol. There's a large misconception that marijuana is harmless. There is evidence to support that marijuana on an adolescent's brain impedes the development, encourages apathy, and people tend to smoke marijuana more recreationally because they feel that it's harmless than alcohol. How? Alcohol in that age group, ages 13 to 25, are not consuming it on a daily basis to the point where it affects their judgment and behavior. As the host of this video, I would like to show a clip of what the older generation might not be thinking about when it comes to people drinking alcohol.
Downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to become this country.
Now, also, you might imagine, the younger generation gave answers that reflected that they feel alcohol is worse than marijuana. They gave the responses like, in general, weed doesn't affect your motor function as compared to alcohol, which affects it a lot. If you put 1,000 people in a room that drink alcohol, it will be guaranteed that a fight will break out, obviously. But if you put 1,000 people in a room that smoke weed, it will be guaranteed that there will be no fight broken out. And smoking in moderation is safer than drinking in moderation. Again, as the host of this video, I'd like to show a news broadcast of what the younger generation might not be thinking about when it comes to people smoking marijuana.
Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes spoke to an expert who says one factor may be that pot smokers inhale deeper and hold the smoke in their lungs longer.
When marijuana was first approved for recreational use in California, weed proponents
I can roll a joint a minute.
were at an all-time high.
Pun very much intended. These days, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say about 20% of all Americans have tried pot. It's also the most commonly used drug in America and is still illegal at the federal level.
But as recreational pot has gained traction in states all across the country, more research has been focusing on its health effects. And one argument marijuana supporters have stood by for years, that weed is healthier than cigarettes, is now coming under fire.
Perhaps it's time to just pause and think about what you're doing to yourself until we get more information.
Dr. Scott Brandman is referring to a new study just published by the Radiological Society of North America. It reviewed lung scans of smokers and finds that rates of emphysema, airway inflammation, and enlarged breast tissue were higher in pot smokers than tobacco smokers.
Marijuana smoke not only damages the airways in the lungs, but it's actually making holes in it.
Emphysema is already the 3rd leading cause of death in the U.S. Brandman says one factor that may affect weed smokers is how they inhale, deeper, holding the smoke in their lungs longer. And researchers are also looking at something within pot.
there's a carcinogen or a chemical that we haven't yet identified in marijuana smoke that we're theorizing is damaging the lung and creating these holes.
If you're using marijuana for medical reasons, Brandman suggests talking to your doctor about edibles or ways other than smoking to use marijuana. Everyone else, well, it may be high time to clear the air.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
An exception to marijuana being so harmful, as you could see in the video, if people choose medical marijuana in an edible form. With this social research project, various doctors were able to address some of those fears in their interviews. One doctor, Dr. Bridget Williams, MD, found that there were medical benefits of medical marijuana. She was about to leave the profession because the solution to sickness kept being to keep pushing pills. When she had a patient ask about marijuana and she researched it and prescribed it, she saw her patient improving. This encouraged her to do more research, and she started to see all the benefits of marijuana in sick patients. So, the overall, the lesson to be learned from this social research project is that perhaps either habit is okay in moderation, but the bottom line is they're both drugs. They both have harmful effects. So whether you're old or young, it might be better just to live a healthy life without either one. Thank you. My name is Benjamin McKinley, and I approve this message.